So I saw this recently, and it's just I wanted to give my opinion on it on the MMA Guru versus Nina drama, I guess you can say. And the reason I want to even give my opinion is because I just it makes me very mad to see shit like this. So basically, how this started was MMA Guru says, honestly, so disrespectful. The UFC cameraman at the UFC 307 press conference, which was yesterday. No, 2 days ago. My bad. Saying, nah, you guys gotta see this in the middle of her question. Honestly, pathetic behavior and not funny. Nina Drama goes on a whole spiel, and usually I'm like, oh, I'm not reading this shit. Like, look at all this. I'm not reading this shit. But I want to go through it because I saw a little bit of it, and the little bits I read was the stupidest shit ever. So we're just gonna go over some points, and we're just gonna see what happens. I'm not obviously I'm on a certain side. And before I start this, I want to say there's one thing I believe to be true more than anything, and that's everybody is a hypocrite. The difference between a good person or just a bad person in general is the decent person understands when they're a hypocrite and they know they're a hypocrite, so they own up to it. The bad person just doesn't take any responsibility for it, even if they do understand that they are a hypocrite. So that's what I judge you based on. If you understand that you're a hypocrite and you're willing to admit it, some people aren't, and that's what makes you annoyed. So she says, I've been trying to keep my mouth shut about this clout chasing vermin since I started in the UFC. First off, some people have to clout chase because they don't start in the UFC. They start outside of it trying to make something from nothing. Not everybody gets to just randomly be a journalist in the UFC because they already have their name out there and a following from doing certain adult film stuff. I'm not going to go into that much because it's not really appropriate, and I don't want to just get. I'm a decent person. I don't want to just get all your information out there when you haven't said shit about me. If you haven't said shit about me, I'm not going to be like, oh, you did this, you did that. Like, it's whatever. I'm just trying to go over it. Okay, and he hasn't been able to keep my name out of his mouth. I read that tweet. He didn't mention you a single time, but it's all good. You're the one that mentioned him. Crying about me like a little bitch on the internet, but for Amy, I had to speak up. Okay, so just keep in mind, she wants to speak up, right? Because he's making a joke, basically implying that he didn't want to see it. He thinks that she's, I don't want to say ugly, but maybe fat. Her best friend is Sean Strickland, who's literally fat shames people, gets mad at trans people, which I'm okay. Like, now straight up, I'm okay with fat shaming. I think fat shaming's good. Fat shaming builds character, bullying builds character, but I'm willing to admit I'm an asshole for thinking that. But this is where hypocrisy comes into play here, right? Sean Strickland goes after people for being fat. He bullies people for literally anything, but it's not a problem when he does it. So that's where hypocrisy comes in, and that's where she doesn't really admit to that. And that's a problem, to me at least. But we're going to move on from that. I'm sure that will be brought up later. I may not be everybody's cup of tea. I might be cringe and annoying, and I don't shy away from using my assets for views. By the way, her assets are her private parts. And she, remember when she complained about, oh, don't ask how I got the John Jones interview. Don't be weird like that. But she just says that she likes using her private parts to get views. I wish I could. I'd be putting a list quick, but I guess not, bruh. They're a great set. Okay, talking about her tits. I will use every tool at my disposal without actually, desecrating myself for success in my career. But you did. Because you worked in adult entertainment. For Playboy to be more specifically. But we're going to move on from that. That's not important, but you got to understand, when you do a career like that, when you start your career like that, you got to also be ready for the consequences of doing that. You can't be like, oh, I I didn't do anything sexual for my thing. You just admitted to using your assets as in your tits for views, and you also did Playboy, but okay. I guess, bro. But that doesn't make me an indecent human. I said indecent. Indecent human. It's not, yeah, I agree. That doesn't make you indecent human being. Who you hang out with does, though. Like, I like Sean Strickland. I'm all down for Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's cool. Sometimes. I agree with some stuff he says. But he's not a great person at all. Like, and the reason I agree with that is because I'm also not a great person. But I'm willing to admit that. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm a human being. I'm not indecent at all. Who are you kidding, bro? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just admit it. So yeah, she says indecent human, which is what you like to allude to as of late. This what makes you so indecent and despicable. He said a fat joke. He he said a fat joke, which a lot of people agreed with. Which Nina Drama, I'm sorry, but halfway through this paragraph, you've mentioned her once, and you didn't even you made it about you, saying I don't use my assets. You've mentioned her once in half the paragraph, saying that, oh, I had to speak up for her. But you didn't. You haven't yet. You haven't said a shit about her. You've been defending yourself the whole time, saying that you're such a decent person and that he sucks as a human being. But yet, how he's using your friend to get views and to make a joke, you're using your friend to start drama with him that will get you views. So you're both using her instead of really sticking up for her. So yeah, I mean, y'all are both horrible people. I'm also one of them. But you gotta admit to it, you know what I'm saying? That's what separates both of y'all. He admits to it, you don't. Anyway. Blah blah blah. So much said that I had to say something. Okay, you haven't said shit about her. This is the reason why you will never make it out the stale basement doing internet interview calls for the rest of your life. Fact of the matter is, I would love to do an interview call with anyone in the UFC or outside the UFC. A lot of people would love to do that. I would love to do that. Not everybody gets random interviews with Alex Pereira, John Jones, anybody. But what do you know? You know, those guys apparently have a history of SA. So some type of persuasion might work on those guys. We can't do that. He's in England. He can't come down and be like, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm here. Let's do an interview so I can go back to England like any second. No. You're not gifted random interviews by the UFC because you work there. You gotta actually make your career from nothing sometimes. Like, it's... Yeah, I understand that you might not get that because you've had a lot of stuff given to you for free. I understand that, but I mean, like... You can't be that type of person where you're gonna be like, oh, I'm such a decent human being. I do this, I do that, but you don't understand anything. You don't have sympathy for what other people go through. And that's what makes you not a decent human being. That you don't have sympathy for people. I'm not one to give that advice out, but it's really common information. But anyway, yeah, so she says he's still in a basement. That's not true. Prostituting yourself for donations that don't even cover a premium Zoom account. I don't know about y'all. I've been in those MMA Guru streams. That's a solid like $100 every time. I would love to do that again. Oh, tons of people, millions of people would love to do that, literally. And I know you say you don't prostitute yourself. You just said use your valuable assets, as in your private parts, to get views. That is quite literally prostitution. Or maybe not quite literally prostitution, but that is a sense of prostitution. And you use it to get interviews. So you can keep making the views, which eventually goes into money. And you did Playboy. I don't see MMA Guru's dick flying around being... I don't see him with an OnlyFans. I'm not saying you do have an OnlyFans. But I don't see him fucking on a Playboy magazine. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him on a Playgirl magazine. But hey, I mean, to each his own. I guess you're not a prostitute, and I guess he is. For trying to make some real money. Because he came from nothing. Just like a lot of us. We don't get gifted UFC interviews. We don't get paid by ESPN or UFC. You know what I'm saying? So, you want to say you're prostituting yourself for donations. Some of us have to. We don't have a choice. But there's a reason why you had to take the role of the heel. He's been a heel for a bit. Like, that's how it is. And honestly, I think being a heel is not even that bad if that's what you have to do. She doesn't know about sacrifice. That's just straight up how it is. The only thing that she sacrificed was her indecency by going on Playboy. It's the stupidest shit ever. On the backside of the MMA media industry, and it's because you're a rude, vile, ignorant, dusty, pathetic troll that causes more problems than you're worth. Sean Strickland isn't a troll. He's everything you listed, but a troll. I honestly think if you're naming all that and then saying a troll, it makes it seem like, hey, you're not actually that guy. Sean Strickland is actually that guy without being a troll. It's the stupidest shit ever. So in that sense, he's not really much different. Besides that, he's kind of putting on an act, like you said. This is hypocrisy, like I'm saying. I hate hypocrisy, but I understand everybody's a hypocrite in some way, shape, or form. She's no different. Straight up, she's just no different. And Dusty Prophetic Troll, I mean, like, she's just going off random shit now. That causes more problems than you're worth. Trust me, everyone in the UFC knows who you are because of all the rumors and lies you spread and clicks you. And clicks and views. Okay, yeah. Because he has to. She doesn't understand how YouTube works. You gotta make a thumbnail. You gotta make something out of nothing. That's how you become a good YouTuber. You make something out of literally nothing. But yet, he hasn't really done that. Everything he said, for the most part. No, I'm not on his dick. I don't know everything he said. I'm not gonna defend him that crazy. But the stuff about Sean Strickland that he said, which he's agreed with, which you're his best friend. The stuff about John Jones that he said, maybe not the gay stuff, which is there's pretty good evidence there. But him saying that he's a horrible person, that's true. That's just the truth, completely. The one thing I can respect about MMA Guru is he's more of a journalist than Nina Drama is. He actually knows what he's talking about. He brings actual shit. He brings evidence, or even claims, eyewitnesses, in terms of interviews and shit. He brings it to there, and he collects it for hours. Nina Drama does, can you make this face as an emoji? Oh, what's your best dance move? Which you literally just did. You're not an interviewer. Or you are an interviewer. You're not really a reporter on anything, you know? Like, you don't really do anything. I could go over to Sean Strickland and be like, hey, I want to see you dance right here. Hey, you think people are fat? Like, that's not... you're not giving any useful information ever. MMA Guru does that with actual shit. You just trash talk people and say, oh, you're clowning me because you say I use my assets, as in my tits, when you literally admit it, but you get mad at people for saying it. It's the stupidest shit ever. But now, after, let's say 4/5, I think, 80% of the paragraph wasn't about Amy. But you owe Photo Amy an apology, and while you're at it, apologize to yourself. Okay, so one sentence. She's one sentence. That's your huge defense. Literally one sentence. But let's continue. An apology, and apologize to yourself for turning out less than human. I mean, he didn't retire his family, but he's helping his family financially. As a man, that's the one thing that every guy dreams of. We want to retire our family. We want to be there financially for them. We want to be able to support them financially. Because we know the struggles they've had to endure. So as a man, and as really any man, they would give so much. They don't care how they would get judged if they could actually financially support themselves and their family. Like, call me an asshole. You could literally get the whole world to hate me, As long as my mom is happy, as long as I can retire my family, I don't care. So, who gives a fuck if he turns out less than a human? Apparently, he's not shaking his ass for money. He's built something out of nothing. He's revolutionized the YouTube industry, the MMA YouTube industry, and inspired people. I don't know who Nina Drama has inspired. I don't think she's inspired anybody. I think she's been trash talking. MMA Guru inspires a lot of people, making a lot of people better. But he's less than human, I guess, right? He's a stain on society, and now the reason another person is gonna sleep feeling devalued and violated. I don't think. Look, if I'm her, if I'm Amy, I'm being like, look, I don't feel bad about MMA Guru. I feel bad about my supposed friend, who says, "Oh, I can't do this. I got a beef with this guy," for my friend's support, and then she just trash talks him and doesn't say shit about me for like a sentence. And the one thing that she does say about me is, "Oh, she feels violated and devalued." Like, what? Defend me. You brought me up. You used my name so you can argue with MMA Guru to get more views. At least defend me. You haven't defended her yet at all. I'm honest to God, not even sure if you talked to her. I doubt you even talked to her because you're not a great human. You're not a good human. I would love for you guys to check out Amy's work. She's a fantastic journalist and a valued contribution to MMA. Thank you for putting that at the end, where no one wants to read this whole thing. Put her at the start. Be like, she's offered so much to this community. Her journalism's great. You put it at the end, because you put yourself first. Like, you put yourself first in everything. But he's just a horrible human being. And I'm not done. I have so much more. It's just, you put yourself first in everything. Literally everything. I don't understand it. But let's keep going. Oh, what do you know? Just going back to normal. Oh, she loves dancing. She's such a good journalist. Walking Buckley's hitting that shit low-key. I'm not even gonna lie. And then she makes a video. Special message to my biggest fan, lol. I mean, you brought him up, but okay. Is there another one in here? I'm pretty sure there's another one, but... And here's the defense. Okay, so... I don't know who the motherfucker is, but respect for you for standing up. When Sean Strickland says the most wild, unhinged stuff, you do nothing but laugh and vibe. Sean says a lot of things I don't agree with. I'll call him all the time to delete shit and take it down. But you still laugh at it. It's like when your friends... Have you ever heard that argument where if your friend's racist and you don't stop him, that makes you a bad person too because you're not stopping him from doing the bad things? I mean, she's not doing anything, right? Like, she's not really stopping him. I'll call him all the time and delete shit and take it down. He's never mentioned you once saying that that's why he took it down, because he hurt someone's feelings. And I don't think he cares about hurting someone's feelings, which is why I respect that. He admits to shit. Sean Strickland might be a better person than Nina Drama, apparently. Sean is a supportive friend. He fat shames people all the time. I'm pretty sure his one best friend, Chris Curtis, can't even be around him anymore. Doesn't like him. Sean is a supportive friend. We've helped each other each grow. Yeah, in views. You haven't helped each other grow maturely at anything. I'm sure. I would love for Sean Strickland to come down here and be like, hey, I want to interview with you. But I guess I just had to suck him off, right? Like, I guess I'd have to do that for an interview. I have gotten to know Sean. He's one of the most supportive friends, and vice versa. Okay, so vice versa means that usually other way around, in my opinion. That's how I usually say it. Is she saying that she's one of the most supportive friends? Because she didn't mention Amy once until like the very end. So, and she used her name to get views off of MMA Guru. So maybe she's a supportive friend, I guess. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because if I was a supportive friend, I'd make a whole entirely separate paragraph for Amy, or I would just not bring myself into it. I feel bad for Amy. I really do. Because not only does she not deserve what MMA Guru said, she just doesn't deserve a great friend like Nina Drama to just use her name to get views. She deserves a real friend, but I guess not. I'm not gonna be her friend. I mean, I might if she asks, but like, I'm an asshole, so. He's one of the most supportive friends and vice versa. He's a good person with lots of opinions on the world. His opinion is being fat phobic and calling a woman ugly, which I'm all down for. But I admit to that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was Sean's friend, I'd be like, hey, that shit funny. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I disagree with that. I never agree with anything he says about that. And then you laugh in the interviews and you get him money and you get yourself money. Anything to get you views, right? Anything when you're fucking hate this bitch. But anyway, moving on. He's even joking and said things about me that were not. What? That were not and are not. Okay. That were not and are not true. But Sean isn't an intentionally mean person. What do you mean? What do you mean? You can't say, oh, the reason it's okay when this guy does it is because he's not intentionally mean. What is he then? Like, what? And, you know, I know I only have this tweet up from Elon Rachmanov. I know I only have this tweet up, right? But I could look up anything. Sean Strickland homophobic, Sean Strickland transphobic, Sean Strickland anything phobic. It's going to show up. It's going to show up. And there's going to be at least 5 of them. So for her to say he's not intentionally mean, he is. He says it. He's an asshole. He says it all the time that he's intentionally mean. You can look at any interview. He says, well, I'm an asshole, guys, but, like, you know, sometimes you gotta be an asshole. Like, he says it all the time. Shows how much you know your friend, right? Trying to defend him when there is no defense. I'm not even sure he'll take your side now. I'm sure he laughed at MMA Guru's tweet, bro. He tries to better himself every day. He speaks on his mental health, his struggles with it, and tries to inspire people to go out and better their lives. I'll speak on my mental health. I'll do it. MMA Guru speaks on his mental health. He's depressed every fucking day. Every day after every UFC fight, he's depressed. So, I mean, that counts. He's inspired multiple content creators who actually enjoy telling the truth and don't want to make random rumors, but I guess not. I don't get it, bro. Sean Strickland does inspire people to be better, but he's an asshole. You can be an asshole and be an alright person. An asshole doesn't make you a bad person. An asshole is completely different. He's an asshole, but the difference is he admits it, and that's what makes him a better person than Nina. That's what makes everybody a better person than Nina. You admit you're an asshole, and you try to work on that. Even if you don't work on that, you admit it. Because you see that, hey, I'm a piece of shit, but, like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, I'm better than you. Like she says to everybody that she's better than them. But, you know, he speaks on mental health. I speak on mental health every day. No one gives a shit. Get in the gym or make something of themselves to take a stand in what they believe. MMA Guru believes in fat phobia. As a fat person, he's a fat ass. Sean Strickland believes in fat phobia. But he's never gone through that struggle of being there, of being fat. And I understand, you never want to go through that struggle, but I feel like MMA... If you're... Now, I hate to compare fat phobia to race. If I'm not black, I'm not going to speak on another black person's experiences or them as a demographic. I'm not going to speak on that. I mean, like I said, I do agree that fat phobia is, you know, that's real. You should definitely, like, help people make something of themselves. But Sean Strickland speaks on it when he has no experience in it. He says that fat people, disgusting. Ugly people, disgusting. Some woman, if you're a fat and ugly woman, you're disgusting. He made fun of a guy who got hit by a bus. And now his family's grieving. And the main thing is, his family grieving and the guy who got hit by a bus, Sean Strickland got more attention by saying that guy should have dodged it. That's not being an asshole. That's making fun of a guy who just died, and his family's grieving like 3 days later. That's not being an asshole. That's You're just actually a bad person, which he admits. You know, it's not, obviously there's something wrong with being a bad person, but if you admit to it and you try working on it, it's a lot better than saying, "Oh, I'm not a bad person," and calling everybody else a bad person when you're obviously being hypocritical. Like if I had a friend who's an asshole, I don't want him to be like, "Oh, I'm not an asshole. I'm really one of the best guys ever." Just admit you're an asshole, and I fuck with you because you know what you're doing. You're admitting and you're trying to work on that shit. I fuck with anyone trying to work themselves and be better. If you're trying to be better, you have my full support. Nina, she can't be better because she doesn't admit that she's a bad person or an asshole or anything. But yeah, she's using her friends over and over again. He's even joked, said things about me that were not. Okay, true. Every day he speaks on mental health. Like I said, I do that. Gets in the gym, makes them themselves. He's constantly talking about doing his best to become a better man, and through being his friend, I've watched him do this. He's talked on podcasts saying that he wants to kill people all the time. And there's videotapes of him walking outside of his house with a gun when there's a kids around. That's not trying to be a better person. Like he actively wants to hurt people, and I'm okay with that. If you're an MMA fighter and you want to hurt people, that's why you do MMA. That's why you do this. You can't defend Sean Strickland when you're gonna turn around and get mad at MMA Guru for the same things. It's so stupid, bro. I shouldn't be giving her like I shouldn't even be like going over this. But it makes me so mad because you can't defend hypocrisy. You can't say, "Hey, I'm a good person. I'm so much better than these guys," when you've actively done so much worse than these guys. Stupidest shit ever, bro. He tries to inspire people, blah 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 blah. Yep, okay. He has inspired many men to do the same. I don't know MMA Guru, and he does not know me. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows every crevice of you. You can find it online. They know every curve on you. You can find it for free. Everybody. Any age. Any age you can find it because she promotes it all the time. But you know, Sean Strickland's inspired many people to speak out on mental health. MMA Guru has also inspired a lot of people to make careers, to try doing something. Go in his chats, like literally go in his chats. People, they might clown him, but they always come back. They always listen to his advice for the most part. Like, he inspires a whole new generation to literally make content, to only make content about the facts and not just shake their ass and their tits and argue with everybody. But, you know, I mean, I guess she doesn't get it. Had to spread lies about me and false narratives. If you look up Nina Drama Playboy and you go to images, you didn't get it from me, but go ahead and just see how factual that is, right? He does not aspire to be any better. He is constantly negative without a purpose. He gets paid. He gets paid to be negative. That's what it's for. Like I said, man, it's horrible reading shit like this. But you would love to even have a chance to be in their scenario, and they just don't get that because they're long gone. You would love to be in their scenario where you could be negative all the time and get paid for it. But to her, that's a bad thing because she didn't make a career off that, and she doesn't know what it's like to not have a career because you have to work from the ground up. She doesn't know what it's like to make videos for years and years just to get like 100 subscribers and like 3 views. She doesn't know what that's like because she gets everything gifted to her, including UFC interviews and UFC tickets and just a job at UFC, you know, at just giving interviews. It's the stupidest shit ever. She doesn't know what it's like. But hey, she's such a good person. Regarding Helen, it was you, trolls, who tried to put it who tried to pit us and the internet against each other, who made up false lives and narratives and dumb YouTube videos. So if you make YouTube videos and apparently you just make up lies, false narratives, anything, you're dumb. Your YouTube videos suck. She doesn't care about your YouTube videos. She won't show support. Also, it was an internet troll who photoshopped a fake tweet that I proved was Photoshop. I have nothing but respect for Helen, and I'm so over this tired storyline. I mean, that's not what it seemed like, low-key, but if you did have, let's say, a Photoshop thing and you could prove it was Photoshop, why didn't you put it in here? You know, why didn't you bring it up again? You never mentioned this again, by the way. You just keep this. You haven't mentioned it again yet, to my knowledge. And let's look at some of the comments. I think now would be a good time to distract everyone with some bikini content. On God. On God, I appreciate you. He doing everything a favor, bro. He doing everybody a favor. I agree with you, Guru's an idiot, but Sean is, to be honest, it's coming off as hypocritical. Kenny Okoye. I don't even fuck with him like that. But this made me a fan. I respect you crazy after that. Do I follow you? I don't. I'm following you, bro. I respect you crazy after that, because you know what it is. You call people out, and you're not afraid to, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate anybody who does that, like I said. And then she makes this. Special message to my biggest fan, lol. That was fun. But let's not forget who the real prostitute is. You beg for your donations. I get big boy checks. Yeah. Playboy. Also, she's crying. You can see the redness on her eyes. But anyway. Yeah, Playboy. I love your big boy checks from Playboy. From Mr. Dana White. Who could be P. Diddy of MMA. I get big boy checks. You saw the effect of me mentioning you. You get it now. Lastly, the biggest difference between you and me is my pussy is between my legs and you use yours to speak. Didn't need to know that. I mean, we could all see it. Just look up Nina Drama Playboy. I'm not going to for obvious reasons. Just look up Nina Drama Playboy and you'll see it. Yeah, I promise you'll see it. But yeah, she makes a whole 3-minute video yapping. Let me check it out.
I called you vile and an excrement of society.
I don't even want to see this. Like, she just
because that's what you are.
I low-key can't hear it, nor do I want to. I'll watch that later, I guess. But yeah, she just goes back to all this now. Holding her ass crack, by the way. That's the first thing she sees. Posing, yeah, getting ready. Short shorts, turning around type shit. I believe it. That's crazy. Dancing. Hasn't mentioned anything yet ever since she got called out and ratioed. Yeah, man. Like I hate her. I hate her deeply. Oh, and by the way, her favorite is John Jones. Right? That's her favorite. She loves interviewing John Jones, who she says is great, a great person, great to be around. Let me read this. On Tuesday, MMA Junkie acquired a copy of the police report through a public records request, which stated that John Jones left his fiancée, Jessie Moses, bloodied after allegedly assaulting her with their 3 children present. Great guy. You love him. You just love him, right? Hey guys, don't ask how I got the John Jones interview. You don't want to know. But you just love John Jones, right? Who let me read that one more time. Which stated that Johnson left his I'm sorry, this is horrible. That Jones left his wife, Jessie Moses, bloodied after allegedly assaulting her with their 3 children present. Look, I'm sorry, but as someone who's been through a situation like this, I'm not gonna trauma dump because I'm better than that. And this isn't about me, right? Right, Nina? This isn't about me. As someone who's been through that, I can't imagine what it's like to watch your father beat your mother in front of you. And then Nina Drama and all the MMA community is being like, oh, this guy's amazing. This guy's such a good person. When you watched him beat your mother in front of you. To a bloody pulp. And Nina Drama's like, hey guys, I love this guy. Don't ask how I got the interview. You really don't want to know how I got that interview. You really don't. By the way, it's on my Playboy if you want to see it. You know what I'm saying? $5 extra. It's fucking annoying. You can't call people bad people when you say that you love a person who beats his wife in front of his kids. You love someone who hit and ran a pregnant lady, and who's ended multiple fighters' dreams because he's a PED cheat. But you love that guy, literally the worst guy to ever touch MMA ever. I don't know how factual that is, but he's probably top 10, top 5 easily. According to the report, domestic incident took place inside a room at Caesar's Palace Hotel and Casino. Moses said the altercation occurred after Jones came back agitated from a night out with the friends while she was asleep. A night out with what friends? Like they didn't listen to his safe word in bed? Like why was he agitated? Was he doing a little cocaine again? Why was he agitated? When she tried to leave the room, Moses said Jones pulled her hair for no reason. Pulled her hair, okay. She denied Jones struck her. According to Moses, the children were present during the altercation. By the way, she was bloody. She was like beaten up, nose bleeding. She was bloody to a pulp. But she still denied that Jones struck her based off complete fear. Like I said, I've been in that scenario. That shit happens. That's trauma for life. He gave his kids and his wife trauma for life. And Ian is being like, oh, he's such a great guy. Imagine if John Jones' kids see that. That you're praising him, saying that he's such an amazing person and that you love him. After watching him beat the wife to a bloody pulp in front of them. And I'm pretty sure he just ran off about that, by the way. He didn't really take responsibility. He just ran off from that. Just like he ran off from hitting a pregnant lady with a car. Just like he ran away from the sport when she crushed DC's dreams, knocked him out in front of his whole family while on PED cheats. But he's a great person. He's so much better than MMA Guru who makes YouTube videos. She's such a disappointing fuck, bro. She's so disappointing. An account taken from Caesar's Palace security guard, oh my god, stated that Moses came back to the desk, asked for a key to her room. The security guard observed blood on Moses. That's who cried when asked if she was okay. Moses explained that she did not feel safe going back to the room, and she was taken with her children to the security office. Once there, Jones' youngest child asked security, "Can you call the cops?" Their youngest child. Their youngest child asked if you could call the cops on your father. That's not a decision a child should be making, but John Jones just forced his child to have to call the cops on him because he didn't want to see his mom, or she didn't want to see her. I don't know whose youngest child is. Didn't want to see their mom bloodied, get beat up again. That's just pure trauma for the rest of your life. But he's a great person. When interviewed by police, Moses was asked if Jones had gotten physical with her, to which he responded, not too physical, but a little bit, yeah. She was bloodied. That's just fear. That's pure fear talking where you're like, if I say anything, this guy's gonna go crazy on me. Which he has a history of doing, where he has a history of hurting people. She's gonna be like, if I say this, I don't know what he'll do. I really don't know what he'll do. She's fearing for her life in that scenario. Because John Jones put her in that scenario, Nina Drama. But you just love him. You just love him. You know who I'm looking out for? You know who I want more people to show love to? His kids. His kids. Ask if his kids are okay. Check up on the kids. Be like, hey, your father is a horrible person. Your father's done horrible shit. Check up on the kids. Don't be like, oh, her father's amazing. Oh, he's so impressive. He came back after 4 years of beating his wife, hitting and running, and PED cheating. He's so impressive to win again. Just to dodge Tom Aspinall. He's the lowest of the low in the UFC MMA scene, really. And you're also the lowest of the low in terms of reporters. It's crazy. The police report described Moses as scared to even talk about Jonathan. I don't see his brother Chandler Jones beating people or Arthur Jones. I'm an NFL guy. I don't remember if Chandler Jones ever beat people or Arthur Jones. I don't remember if they ever did. You know, but apparently for him it just seems so hard to keep his hands off woman, off his car. Remember when the drug testers came to his house and he said, "I'll literally kill you." But he's such a great guy because he shows up, he has a fat belly, he starts jiggling it, and he's the cringiest motherfucker there is. I hate all this, bro. I hate when bad people get glazed. It's the stupidest shit. She still seemed very scared as to release of John Jones from jail. Oh my god. Arresting officer wrote in the report. Moses asked him how long she had before Jones. Oh my god. This. You want to stand up for a woman, Nina. You want to inspire a woman. Have you checked on John Jones' fiance? Have you done any of this to support her besides saying that her husband's amazing? And saying, don't ask how I got the interview. You don't want to see how I got the interview. Have you checked up on anyone in his family? Because, you know, the first thing I would do if I was like, okay, can I make a tweet about this guy? Can I say anything about this guy? And any positive remark is you would ask the family and be like, hey, I know this guy made you have everlasting trauma. And I know he made it so that you'll probably have those issues for the rest of your life. But hey, can I glaze him? Can I like, you know, put the video on my OnlyFans for $6.99? Can I do that? Like, you don't check up on anyone. You're a horrible person. Moses refused to have pictures taken of her injuries, declined to accept. Hey, that's just fear. That's just pure fear at that point. I'm not even gonna read all this. You get the idea. So MMA Guru is such a horrible person for making a joke about this, and literally coming off of it, it could literally be like, hey, you didn't have to show her. You could have kept it private. She thinks MMA Guru is such a horrible person for that, but she just loves John Jones being his fiance and just right in front of the children. She just loves John Jones hitting people with a car and writing off just because he has drugs in the car. She loves when DC gets embarrassed in front of his whole family because John Jones on PED cheats. She just loves that. She loves Sean Strickland, who says that he wants to murder people on a regular basis. Makes me laugh that you can't call a woman fat. Literally makes fun of women, calls them ugly, calls them fat, makes fun of trans people, and that's okay. Like I don't care. It's just the hypocrisy of it. Like I said, this is one tweet because I was not about to find the other 51s. You know what I'm saying? It's the stupidest shit. Like, you can't. Nina, I'm only saying this like. I don't want to take MMA Guru's side. It might sound like I'm glazing. I just want to expose that she's a horrible person. By the way, I looked up who is Nina Drama. It's on Microsoft Start. The MMA media landscape is evolving with content creators like Nina Drama changing the game with unconventional interviews. Okay, that's not bad. Nina Drama, a former Playboy playmate, brings a unique, explicit style to MMA interviews, creating buzz within the community. I, honest to God, think MMA Guru does better interviews. Because he talks. He actually talks about the fights coming up. He doesn't be like, so, what's your favorite fat phobic girl? Like, you think fat phobia is okay? Like, just read any one of Sean Strickland's tweets. Of course he does. What? Your interviews are all the same. Hey, Sean Strickland, talk about fat phobia so I can get millions of views again and get paid. Hey, Strickland, you didn't talk about fat phobia yet. Let me just bring it up. You think fat phobia is okay? But you know, you wanna interview John Jones, beat his wife, call him the goat, beat his wife. MMA peers, man, yeah, we don't appreciate Nina Drama's approach. Actually, no. Here's the thing. We do. We do appreciate Nina Drama's approach. We like her interviews. But don't try pretending that you're something that you're not. And don't fall out of line and say, oh, this guy's basically a prostitute, when you just admitted to using your valuable assets, as in your private parts, and you were on a Playboy magazine. Just look it up. Like I said, look it up if you're over the age of 18. Nina's not a good person. And I'm just gonna go over it one more time. Literally one more time. Just look how long it takes for her to defend Amy here. She listed she didn't even she says Amy's name once, but for Amy, I had to speak up. By the way, literally all this basically is not about Amy until right here. And then it's not about Amy again until right here. So maybe 2 sentences, if that, go to Amy. Amy, I'm sorry. If you do end up seeing this, you deserve a lot better. Don't ever let this fucking prostitute, don't ever let her say your name again just to make arguments for MMA Guru for views. Don't do it. It's all for views. Like, it's not. She doesn't really care about Amy. Like, she doesn't care about Amy. She doesn't care about really anybody. She's so far attached from the MMA community where she thinks, hey, your YouTube videos are stupid. By the way, check out mine where my bra's showing and everything. Or I'm wearing a fucking see-through thing, bro. She's just so far attached. She's not a good human being. I hope I've cleared this up pretty well. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. I can't handle hypocrites like this who are just actually horrible people, but they get praised so much and they think, hey, just because I have a lot of views means I can do whatever I want. No, it's not how it's got to be. That this is MMA YouTube. We're gonna hold you accountable for shit. It's the stupidest shit ever.